The Mission Impossible movie series is known for crazy sequences of high tension, whether it's the underwater vault heist from Rogue Nation or Ethan scaling the Burj Khalifa in Ghost Protocol. But what if I told you that one of the most effective scenes of tension in the entire series takes place between two men sitting at a table? In this video, we're going to break down the restaurant scene from the first Mission Impossible to learn why this sequence is a tension masterpiece. Spoiler warning for Mission Impossible. Director and screenwriter Quentin Tarantino famously describes suspense like a rubber band gradually stretching tighter and tighter. This is a perfect analogy for creating and maintaining scene tension, which we'll refer to throughout this video. But what does this look like in principle? How does a writer create tension, stretching the rubber band tighter and tighter, and how do we see this play out in Mission Impossible's restaurant scene? To answer that, we need to break down the dynamics of tension at play in this scene. Opening information, turns, shifting power dynamics, pacing, and the snap. Opening information is the knowledge we have going into a scene. This establishes our baseline tension. Going into this scene, we know that Ethan has narrowly escaped with his life after a failed mission resulted in the death of his team, and that he has come to this restaurant so that his boss, Kittredge, can smuggle him out of Prague. Because of the events leading up to this scene, there's already a decently high baseline tension, but there's also a certain feeling of safety. Ethan has made it to Kittredge, who, though Ethan's superior, seems sympathetic and non-threatening, creating a fairly even power dynamic. But our baseline tension is about to change. The rubber band is about to begin stretching, and the things that will prompt that stretching are turns. Turns are sudden changes in status or information that alter the state of a scene's tension. Think of each turn as a wider stretch of the rubber band. Over the course of the dinner scene, there are 3 distinct turns that each raise the tension level. After Kittredge explains how he intends to get Ethan out of Prague, we hit the first turn.
Why was there another team?
Ethan deduces the existence of a second IMF team who were shadowing Ethan and the others at the embassy. He then proceeds to pick out the members one by one from around the restaurant.
Bow tie, 12 o'clock. The other IMF team.
This revelation creates a sense of unease as we realize that neither tonight's mission, nor this restaurant, nor even Kittredge are quite what they seem. The rubber band is stretching. The shift in information at the first turn also creates a shift in the power dynamic between Ethan and Kittredge. Kittredge has gone from sympathetic ally to suspicious superior. The revelation of the second team here under Kittredge's command reminds us that Kittredge doesn't just have the power to help Ethan, he also has the power to crush him. This point comes crashing home as we hit the second turn. Tonight wasn't just a blown operation, it was a decoy mission set up by Kittredge to ferret out a mole in the IMF.
This whole operation was a moment.
Note in this scene how as the power dynamic shifts, the camera on Kittredge also shifts, moving from a safe front-on shot to a menacing upwards angle as Kittredge morphs from harmless ally to menacing antagonist. This shift in power dynamics reaches its apex at the third turn. Because Ethan is the only member of the IMF team left, Kittredge has concluded that he is the mole.
And like you said, you survived.
One of the key elements of tension is pacing. Once the turns start coming and the rubber band starts stretching, the tempo of the scene increases to match. Note how once we hit the first turn, the revelation of the second team, the speed with which we hit the other turns increases dramatically. This restaurant, which at first seemed a haven, has become a death trap, and with each passing second, we know our protagonist is less likely to escape it. Scene tension doesn't move along a straight line, but on an exponential curve, increasing faster and faster, the rubber band stretching tighter and tighter until... No high tension scene can be considered great without a satisfying snap as the rubber band finally breaks. Mission Impossible's restaurant scene pays this off in satisfying spy thriller fashion, with an innocent looking bit of secret agent tech. Toward the beginning of the film, when Ethan is gearing up for the Prague mission, he's given a piece of chewing gum and told when the two halves mash together, boom. Just as Kittredge is about to take Ethan into custody, Ethan uses the explosive on a nearby aquarium, flooding the restaurant and providing him the opportunity to run off down the street in quintessential Tom Cruise fashion. The explosion is a fitting scene conclusion, a cleverly executed snap of the rubber band to end a scene of masterfully constructed tension. High-tension sequences like the restaurant scene from Mission Impossible are created through a solid understanding of setup information, turns, pacing, and character dynamics. Though the scene ends with an explosion, all the tension leading up to it is established solely through well-written character and dialogue. Over the course of its run, the Mission Impossible franchise has shown us that while you can elicit high tension by scaling skyscrapers and hanging off the sides of airplanes, with some clever writing, you can get just as much tension from two characters talking in a restaurant. So I hope this helps. Comment below with your favorite scene from the Mission Impossible franchise and subscribe for more writing tips.